Hey guys, Enter the Stars, and we're going to be talking about the shooting. We're just going to look at the numbers. Impromptu live show. We saw that Dabu had gone live a little bit earlier, and I wanted to have the opportunity to check out what's going on with the numbers. Now, apologies for the title, but these kinds of videos are getting flagged, taken down, and I may take this video down as soon as I put it up, based on where the discussion goes. This is nuts. So this is what we're going to talk about today. The shooting that just happened. There's 50 dead, if you hadn't heard. 50 dead. They're calling this the greatest mass shooting in U.S. history. The deadliest is what they're calling this. 50 dead, several hundred injured, non-fatal injuries. We're going to first do an overview of what they're saying happened. And I say that with full intention of the way I just said that. Okay. We're going to go over what they are saying is happening, and then we're going to look at the numbers. And we're going to see how all this fits in. Now, thanks for you guys for coming out. Appreciate you guys. Let's break this down. Like I said, I'm trying to not cover this kind of stuff too much because it can be a downer. And also, this is perfect material that they would attack channels like this with. So, but we got to do this, you guys. So this is what they're saying. This is the 2017 Las Vegas strip shooting. Mass shooting occurred on Route 91 Harvest. Now, the date of the shooting is October 1st. And when you look at Route 91 Harvest, October 1st has 91 days left until the end of the year. We've often talked about these mirror dates. A lot of that material was erased from my main channel, but there's an entire library showing all of these events. Almost every single one coincides with this mirroring of the date. So we have Route 91, and we have 91 days remaining till the end of the year after the shooting happened yesterday. Okay. But it goes deeper. This is just the stuff I found off the top of my head with 10 minutes of research. When you look at the 91st day of the year and then you look at its opposite date, that's April 1st. So I looked at who was actually performing during this, and it's Jason Aldean. And guess what? His Lights Come On single released on April 1st. So his single released on the mirror date of the shooting. Now, let's take a look at Lights Come On, because maybe there's clues about this. Because the lights went out for the people at this concert, obviously. We're going to look at the lyrics to this song. Now, I haven't looked at the lyrics to this song, so I don't know what the lyrics are. I don't know what song was playing when this guy started shooting. It could have been Lights Come On. Anyone in the chat know? Because I know you guys have already researched all this. I see Eric in the chat. Hey, bro, what's up? Shooter was on the 30th floor. What was the name of the song that was playing when the shooting broke out? I'd like to know. So, just reading the chat here to see if you guys have anything on that. So right off the bat, we have some weird synchronicity. Now let's keep going with this because there may be more. Let's look up this song. There's a lot. Yeah. Much love, you guys. Relates to the Book of Acts. Now this stuff is going to continue. Oh yeah, Hugh Hefner just died at 91. When was that? Let's see. How many days ago was that? A lot of 91 stuff going on. Now 91 is an interesting number. I think we had covered 91 recently. They want to start the big show, the elite, says Method Marine. Yeah, 406 injured. This is crazy. This is like, this makes the Pulse nightclub shooting look like kindergarten. Yes, April 1st is 91st day of the year, exactly. That was the date that this song released. I don't know if this was the song that was playing when the shooting happened. That's what I'm waiting for, to see if anyone knows the answer to that. But apparently this guy shot out of this 30-story building. Let's keep going with the story until I hear from you guys. So during a closing performance, so the concert was over, singer Jason Aldean, a shooter, fired into the crowd from a 32nd story balcony of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, located in the southeast of Las Vegas Village outdoor concert venue. Shooter was identified as Stephen Paddock, 64, apparently of Mesquite, Nevada. And I looked on Twitter. Some people thought they might have found this guy, what he looks like. They found like his Facebook page. Says baby. Okay, we'll look at that too. Because oftentimes the lyrics to these songs mean everything too. How this stuff is happening, I don't know if it's on some kind of a spiritual level. I haven't quite figured that out yet. One thing is apparent. This involves the fabric of reality, the matrix. Okay, hold on, let's go. Lose you guys. Hold on. Let's get the name of this song. When She Says Baby, okay. Live research. Some days it's tough just getting up, throwing on these boots and making that climb. Some days I'd rather be a no-show, lay low, for I go out of my mind, making the climb. But when she says baby, oh, no matter what comes, ain't going nowhere. She runs her fingers through my hair and says, so it's like a love song, right? And look in her eyes, coming alive, driving me crazy. When she says baby, some nights I come home fighting mad, feel like I'm running my fist through the wall. Okay, I don't really see anything there. Perfect shot of faith when every bit of mine is gone. All right, let's look at this other song. Lights come on. You're a crack of dawn Monday morning, coffee strong, poured everything you got into my paycheck Friday night. You're a power stroke diesel, backhoe riding king of beers 18-wheeler, driving life in between the lines of clocking in and quitting time. But then a six-string circus comes to town. We hang them speakers over the crowd. When the lights come on, everybody's, oh, wow. There you go. We hang them speakers over the crowd. When the lights come on, everybody's screaming. Now, of course, this is what people do at a concert. Lighters in the sky, everybody's singing every word to every song to a girl, take it home tonight. When the lights come on, everybody's feeling. So this is about a concert. Now remember, this is the song that released, the single, and the opposite date, the mirror date of the shooting, okay? When the lights come on, everybody's feeling a hallelujah high from the floor to the ceiling. Yeah, the drink we're drinking, the smoke that we're smoking, the party we throw, it's going all night long. When the lights come on, when the lights come on. You're a little shy. Thing with the wild side on a night like this, you can't hide. You can't hide. Because it's time to live it up. So come on, raise your cup. If we're talking about memories, yeah, we're going to make them. And they made some memories at this concert, didn't they? Talking about rules, you know we're going to break them. Breaking the rules. When the lights come on, everybody's screaming. Lighters in the sky. Okay, so that's the chorus. When the lights come on, when the lights come on. Now, did the lights come on when the shooting happened? For those of you that saw clips of this. Unbelievable. So, you know, this is open to interpretation, of course. But isn't it weird that this song was released on the opposite date, April 1st, 91st day of the year, Highway 91, October 1st, 91 days remaining in the year. Wow, that's interesting. So you have 10-1 and 4-1, right? So anyway, that's what's going on with the song. Let's keep reading about what happened with this incident. Remember, we're just looking at the numbers. You make your own decision about what you think this is about. Look at this. Oh, it's smoke. Whoa, and look at this. You've got this look at the angle. Look at the angle of the smoke here. What? Oh man. So let's do this. I'm gonna have to take this video down. So once it uploads, you guys might want to save this. Smoke, bullet, shooting a bullet through smoke. Might not even be connected right now. Oh man, this is crazy. Dark. Be right back in the chat in a minute, you guys. So you've got this, it's like this streaking, right? Crossfire. Let's look at crossfire in the smoke. This is crazy. And remember, the guy shot from the 32nd floor. So this looks like a bunch of like bullets raining down onto the crowd. Again, it's open interpretation, but this is what I'm seeing on a spiritual level. Shooting bullets through, okay, let's do crossfire. We need multiple bullets. Smoke. Oh, video game, must be the name of some guy. Anyway, you guys get the drift. This looks like a World War II scene here. Look at this. Like World War II. These bullets coming down from the 32nd floor. Don't ask me how I see this stuff, but I do. Back in the chat. All right, let's keep reading this. Let's see if you guys have any input, because this is a group effort, right? Didn't that look like bullets to you? That's crazy. Okay. And obviously, there are some people that are hurt. So we don't want to like, I'm not going to be one of those channels that says everything's fake and nobody died, because that's what they want us to say, right? Because when we do that, now they can shut people down for being insensitive, right? All right, I'm reading in the chat here. Everyone who's watching, please thumbs up this video, get the word out. The shooter had been in the hotel alone for days. It was like he was waiting. Yeah, they're targeting any large group of people. I wouldn't be caught dead in Vegas or at a concert. Just like I wouldn't be caught dead in the middle of a giant city. Everyone's like, why don't you go to Paris? Why don't you check out Paris while you're there? No, heck no. That'd be the one place they try to take me out at. And here's the problem. Okay, you guys, I can speak till I'm blue in the face, but people aren't going to listen until stuff like this keeps happening. You become their playground for destruction and evil when you put yourself in these situations, perishing because of lack of knowledge. Now, I was very close to the Dallas shooting. There weeks after it happened. And I can tell you that some of the footage we saw, and it's all gone now, obviously. Probably would have gotten a strike on it anyway, but looking at that footage, the way that that man moved, the soldier moved through the streets, and he did what they call, he did like a decoy maneuver, which is a military maneuver. Highly trained people are only able to do that. It takes high levels of training to maintain your focus, to maintain your aim, calm breathing as you're shooting through and moving through targets. And when you look at that footage, how he baited the cop out by shooting one side of the post that the cop was using for cover. And then as soon as the cop moved to the other side, the shooter had already anticipated he was going to do that and took him out. This was a cop, probably had bulletproof vest on. It was a perfect headshot. And that kind of accuracy you only see in a video game or as a super soldier. And that's what I believe is going on here. I think these are either paid mercenaries, super soldiers. They always have a patsy. They have to have a patsy, right? Or they pay these people to carry out the crime. What is the end point? Why would they do this? They do it because you need order. You need chaos to create order. Plain and simple. Order out of chaos. Let's keep reading the story. Background. 2017 Route 91 Harvest Festival was a 3-day country music festival held from September 29th to August 1st. So this was the last day. Wait a minute. When did Mr. Playboy die? Let's see. Oh, here we go. Ready for this? Okay, so he died 2 days before the concert started. But where did Mr. Hugh Hefner like to hang out in? Vegas. Now this one's a bit of a stretch, but you get the drift, right? He's like the icon. If you go to Vegas, all you'll see, and he died at 91, by the way, is Playboy bunny ears everywhere. That's like the thing. In fact, a lot of the cocktail waitresses will dress up with Playboy bunny ears. That's what's going on in Vegas. If you've been there in the last, I haven't been there in 10 or 15 years. Let's keep reading. 15-acre lot on the Las Vegas Strip across from the Luxor and Mandalay Bay hotels. Mandalay sounds like Melee, right? So Eric Church was there, Sam Hunt, Valdine had the closing act. According to BBC, the state of Nevada has some of the least stringent gun laws. Okay, so here you go. Least stringent gun laws. So now that's going to be the reason why this guy killed everybody. So let's change the gun laws in Nevada after the worst shooting in U.S. history. That's what they're looking to do here. Firearms may openly carry in public. Now, let me be clear here. Okay. I believe in our right to bear arms, but also what is happening in this country or in America is that they have created teams, once again, to divide and conquer. Those that fear guns and those that go overboard and have 15 or 20 guns. And that division that they're creating divides us all. They've created this. They're making money off the gun sales, you guys. That's what's going on. They're making money off of all these gun sales. Okay? They're basically eating at both ends of the table or whatever the term is that they use. They're eating at both ends and they know it. And we're in the middle fighting over gun rights or no gun rights, where there shouldn't even be a fight. Let me give you a little history on gun rights. Okay. America was founded on gun rights. Every single person had a gun. That's just what you had. Why? Because as people moved across the frontier, and this isn't just me making stuff up, this is American history. It's like the Bible. People don't understand until they take the time to read it. Everything else is just speculation. But if you actually read American history, look at the pictures, look at the images, look at exactly what happened, you will understand that everybody had a gun. You needed a gun. Why? There were wild bear running around that were 5 times the size of a man or larger. There were wolves at night. People had to eat, so you had to shoot a deer here and there. It also helped keep the populations in control so they wouldn't overrun places and destroy the forest. Man was put here to manage wildlife. And before there was wildlife management government, there was just men in wagons with families and women moving across the frontier from the East Coast where America was founded, all the way to the West Coast. They also had Indians to deal with, Native Americans. Now, obviously, there was a lot of abuse and killing that went on needlessly to the Native Americans. But imagine a Native American who never seen a white man before, or maybe some of these white men were belligerent and mean, and maybe they thought Native Americans were like animals and they just killed them indiscriminately. And then the Native Americans fought back. So you see, guns are very necessary. Everybody had a gun. You'd be an idiot not to have a gun while you're traveling across the frontier. Now, obviously, America isn't the frontier anymore. But here's the problem. It kind of is in many parts. 80, 90% of the middle America still is like that. There's still wolves eating cattle, eating sheep. There are deers that are destroying. The deer herds can get disease if they're not culled. There's alligators in certain parts of the South. There's rattlesnakes that need to be shot. Otherwise, they'll kill your kid, bite your kid on the ankle and kill him. And I'm not trying to push fear. I'm just telling you guys the truth. But the people on the coast, the East and West Coast that live in the cities, never see this stuff. They don't know what it's like to be on a farm. They don't know what it's like to have to manage the local resources. They don't know what that's like. And so they say guns are not necessary, or gun control should be allowed in certain areas. And that is the truth, the bottom line about guns. Okay, let's keep reading. Approximately 10:08 p.m. during Aldine's performance, when she says, "Baby, had I kept reading, I would have found it." The suspect is believed to have started firing from upper floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. Close to midnight, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department stated that one suspect, a Nevada resident, was down. The suspect was found dead on the 32nd floor of the hotel. Police stated no other shooters were believed to be involved, and the motive of the shooter is unknown. The shooter was identified as 64-year-old Stephen Paddock. These 50 people were killed, among them 2 off-duty police officers. Okay, that's new information that I did not know. Victims were sent to the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada and Sunrise Hospital Medical Center. 14 of the victims reported to be in critical condition. A large portion of the boulevard was shut down as police strike teams combed the venue, neighboring casinos. They're probably looking for additional shooters. What I'd be interested to hear is if anyone reported additional shooters, because that's kind of been the pattern, right? We get these early reports that there were several men with guns running through the crowd or whatever. Okay, 32nd floor, that's pretty high up. I know bullets can kill from that far away. They can kill from hundreds of yards away. I know that. But man, you would think that after the first five or 10 people got shot with automatic fire, that people might have tried to get out of the way. I mean, this guy had a huge vantage point. I mean, he was probably looking out on the entire crowd. But man, I mean, how far away was he? So that's stuff we probably need to dig deeper into, but I'm pretty much going to leave it at this, because let's take a look at this map. This is crazy. So there it is. It'd be interesting to see how far away this hotel is from the venue. I mean, was it 200 yards? Was it 500 yards? Let's see what you guys have to say, because you guys always have great feedback. Pop out and chat. See what's going on over here. Get to the bottom of this. At least have a discussion about it. All right. The paddock slaughtered all the sheep in the paddock. Yeah, what does the name paddock mean? Let's take a look at that. Paddock name meaning. English paddock, small enclosure, topographic name for a dweller by a paddock or enclosed meadow, or habitational name for a place, name of this word. For example, okay, so it's basically like a small enclosure for a dweller. Interesting. Closed meadow. Well, he did shoot a bunch of people in basically an enclosed meadow. It was like shooting turkeys in a barrel, pretty much, looking down onto the venue. So that's kind of weird. What are the odds of that? All right, back in the chat. 32, one floor below the 33 degrees of Freemasonry. That's interesting. Truth sets you free. Yeah, paddocks and animal pen. They were basically all pinned up in an animal pen, Pippi. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, there's stuff going on a very spiritual level here. Says Sheena. She's at a different place to look up the names. Now, a lot of people are like, okay, are we in the tribulation yet? And I know that people believe that, you know, we shouldn't look at it in an Americocentric view of the world. And I get that, you know, and it's actually interesting because now that I'm in France, I'm starting to understand that just because things are happening in America, sometimes we see through everything through the eyes of America, and we shouldn't do that because there is a whole entire rest of the world. America is just a very small part. But I almost feel like America is the last country who basically is holding on to this power. And so a lot of what happened does matter. A lot of what happens in America does matter. It's like an indicator. It's like a gauge. It's like the canary in the coal mine, right? And right now, Americans are very comfortable. Even though these shootings happen, they're happening here and there. Even though these natural disasters happen, they're happening here and there. Rich people and middle class are still they still have their jobs and their money. They're able to get out of the way of these disasters if they want. If you're not at the wrong place at the wrong time, life in America is actually really good. There's a lot of money rolling around. There's, you know, people own their houses, but they're slowly tightening the grip. The boa constrictor is slowly tightening. And I just believe that America has not learned anything yet. Nothing big has happened to America yet. Where I feel like America has really truly entered the true 7-year tribulation. I just don't think we're there yet, you guys. When the shelves go empty across America, there's no food, and they start filling up FEMA camps, that's when we're going to be in the tribulation. That's when it will officially have started. When there are no jobs left and 90% of Americans are on disability. You know, right now what's happening, there are a lot of Americans on disability. There are a lot of Americans that have that experience. But I think it's going to get worse. I think it's going to be like no one's going to be able to have a job. Everyone's going to be basically drawing from, and then when they turn all that off, that's when it's going to start. That's when it's going to hit. Exactly. So we are in like, yeah, I think you're right. Christie's right. Ex-Con's right. It's a precursor. They're like setting it all up. When the economy crashes and they say, oh, you know what, your dollar, the value just got cut in half. That's when it's going to hit. That's when people are going to start jumping off bridges and looting and all that stuff. But it isn't a mistake that we just had the Pulse nightclub shooting. That was the worst shooting in American history. Now we have this shooting. Ooh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a date range between the Pulse nightclub shooting and this shooting. Pulse night. Now, I don't know what we're going to find. Because this was the worst shooting. Pulse nightclub shooting. So we're going shooting to shooting. Worst shooting to worst shooting. That happened on June 12th, 2016. 49 people. So they got them beat by 1. Okay. Unbelievable. June 12th, 2016. Okay. So we're going to go from June 12th. Oh, where did my thing go? Date to date. June 12th, 2016. To 10/1. Dates are backwards in France. That's why it's backwards. And where are we at here? 1 year, 3. There you go. 1 year, 3 months, 19 days. 476. You had 4 and 7. That's 11. 9. 116. Turn that upside down. It's 911. Now, this is just a little, this is just some of the numbers. Some people might consider this a little bit of a stretch. This really isn't solid to me, but you could look at this as 911 upside down. 7 plus 4 is 11, and the 6, and when you rotate that whole thing in a 360 degrees, it becomes 911. But again, that's a little bit more loose interpretation of the numbers, so I would consider that a bit of a stretch, but that's the amount of time between the shootings, the 2 worst shootings in history. Take that for what you will. And I'm back in the chat. June 6. 6 plus 6. Yeah, Plasma John Doe. Interesting. Awesome. We got Allie's new faces in the house. Stephanie. SET Kerr. Kanga Kong. Thanks for coming out, you guys. Thanks for spreading the word. I just like to get on this and look at these numbers. G. Balat. I see a lot of new faces. G. Balat. Stephanie. Vahid's in the house. Bob's here. Noble Young. Sheena. Tom. Teresa. So prayers for the families out there who actually lost somebody. This is going to be a tough time in this country, in America, dealing with this, obviously. I don't know, did anyone see some of the footage of how all this went down? I just got on here. I just picked up on this story. It was on the France server in my Yahoo feed. Then I saw Dabu went live, and I saw 50 dead. I'm like, oh man, this is a big one. This isn't just another shooting where 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people died. This is a lot of people. The 32, Teresa says OJ tie-in at the 32. Yeah, that 32nd floor thing's a little weird, isn't it? There's Susan from Columbus. Zip code. Oh, wow. The zip code. Ex-con. Good catch. 89119. That's 911 backwards. It's also got the 91 in it. Wow. Oh, Vahid said he sent me raw footage. 50 dead. Yeah, some people that were filming the concert. People put their phones up and film the concert. So a lot of people probably have footage of this. A lot. So I'm sure we're going to see it. It's going to start showing up in Twitter feeds and stuff. And maybe Twitter's censoring it. I don't know. Yeah, lots of videos, says Teresa. I would assume that would be the case, especially with the concert. It was weird though, like some of the footage, they show someone from the back filming, and you hear pop, 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 pop. You hear the automatic gunfire, but you don't really see any people dropping in the footage that I saw on Twitter. And I didn't even hear anybody screaming. And who knows, man? This is just crazy. So prayers going out to all the people having to deal with this. 400 injured. Yeah, the death toll is going to rise, says JV. Absolutely. 50 so far. I would say that this is going to be close to 100 people. And this will change the game. This will change the game. Laws are going to change, at least in Vegas, and this may sweep across the nation. Let's look and see what Aldine means. Aldine. Let's see here. Aldine. Where is it? Let's go to the baby center. Okay, we don't have any answers on what this means. Abel, it's related to the name Abel. Wow. Whoa, what happened? Oh, featured video. Turn that off. That was bizarre. All right, so yeah, I don't know what Aldine means, but that might plug into this as well. All right. Yeah, 64-year-old. The guy was 64. That was weird. Usually we see these younger shooters. Well, that's what they're saying. You know, this guy could be a patsy. We don't know, right? We don't know. Could just been a guy at the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, how easy is it to set up a patsy in a room that you already killed and put a gun in his hand and open the window? I mean, how hard is that to do? And drop some, you know, shoot the gun off. I don't know how they do it. But they can make patsies, all right? They might have even, you know, they could have been standing next to the guy after they already killed him or tied him up or whatever. I don't know. This is just speculation, you guys. Yeah, what my point is it's easy to do. Oh, wow. Amber says Aldine Chaldean. Yeah, there you go. I don't know what that means. Trump will be addressing the shooting at 10:30, says Deborah. MK Ultra. Yeah, trauma-based mind control. You know, it's like that film, The Manchurian Candidate. I don't know if you guys saw that. I had a really good decode on it on my main channel. It's now gone, but I have access to it. Chris Lou actually backed up most of my videos, so you're going to see those uploaded on this backup channel over time. I've got a lot of them scheduled already to just kind of release over time. So, and it'll only be my best videos. And so basically this whole channel shutting down thing is actually going to turn out to be a good thing, because you guys are going to get the best of all my videos re-uploaded into your feed. Next week, I've got parts 1 through 4, the Book of Joshua. They talk about a Superman suit, a magic wand, and all kinds of crazy stuff in this apocryphal text of the Bible. So we have parts 1 through 4. I'm going to be re-uploading those, so you guys will see the Book of Joshua and our commentary on it. But as far as this shooting goes, 10-4, 4-10. Yeah, that's coming up. Now, 10-4 has 88 days left in the year, October 4th. Watch out for that date. All right. What's the numerology for Aldine? Not sure, Susan. How did he get 10 rifles in a hotel room? Good question. Don't they have cameras? Where's the footage of this guy walking down the lobby? See, this is the stuff we need to see, okay? And you see the guy walking in with a duffel bag in through the lobby. There's cameras, there's security footage. Walking down the hallway. All of these hotels now have cameras everywhere. And walking down the hallway and into his hotel room. I guess some people said he was there for a week. He was there since the 28th in the hotel. So yeah, this is going to get interesting. And I'm sure that, you know, the way that these shootings are being covered on YouTube has had to change completely. You guys aren't seeing a lot of these false flag videos anymore. You know, some of these channels that are saying everything was fake because they've pretty much gone through and cleaned house on YouTube. You got to be very careful what you say now. Fear of losing your channel. But the discussion still persists on Facebook, Twitter. And you guys talk about that on there. So we don't need to stop talking about it. It just can't be done on some of these the way we used to do it. You know, we used to be able to come on here and just look at stuff and have an honest discussion about this stuff. But those days are coming to a close here on YouTube, at least. Teresa asks how the chickens are. They're doing great. I got a reddish chicken and a beige one. The beige one I named Etoile because she's like a star. That means star in French. And Rue is the bigger chicken. She's like almost twice the size as the other one. But she eats less, so I don't understand that. But I dug up a bunch of worms out of the garden after I cleared all the tomato stalks and plants out. And I just dig them up by the handfuls, and they go nuts. It's kind of fun to watch. Maybe I'll film it for you guys and upload that to the channel. Me feeding the chickens worms. One day I came out and there was 3 eggs. It was like a record. So one of the chickens laid 2 eggs in one day. And that was pretty cool. So, so that's what's going on with the chickens. All right. Back in the chat. So October 4th is the Feast of Tabernacles. Interesting, always seek truth. Can't say anything about the Jews, call them Hebrews. Yeah, we have to like speak in code now. It's crazy. Political correctness on YouTube. Like, what happened? The hotel is golden color, has 3,309 rooms. Wow. Okay. Yeah, got all these cameras watching us, invading our personal rights, but the cameras are never there in the right place at the right time to capture any of these events. That's what blows me away. Remember that trash can blew up on the street? Like, I think it killed a couple people. I think this was in New York. Where were the cameras? What happened? It's like in those movies where the cameras get, like, they erase the footage in the camera. I don't know. Yeah, they go nuts, Pippi. Those chickens love worms. You know, it took me a while to figure it out because there's snails everywhere around here. So I threw them a snail, and they just looked at it. They're like, well, that's too intimidating. Then I found like a giant slug. You know, so man, we always think bigger is better, right? We're like, get the biggest ever, and like that's just going to be better. Well, it doesn't work that way with chickens. They like small things. So they looked at this giant slug that was about 6 inches long, and they just looked at it, and they're like, no, we're not eating that either. And I'm like, I know they like worms. They like that kind of stuff. They like bugs. I know they eat bugs. And I was hoping it was going to help help their egg production because they were kind of lagging on the eggs production. I was getting like one every other day or something. So I dug up some worms. I'm like, I hope this works. And they love it. They kind of have fun with it. Sometimes they peck at them and then like run away and the worms squirming around. It's kind of neat. So yeah, people are going to call it a hoax. I mean, you know, we're going to have to see what's going on with this. You know, more footage is going to come out. Mandalay. Man, we're laying down, True Setchy Free says. Yeah, Mandalay sounds like melee, which means like killing a bunch of people at once. Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, there's probably other stuff going on. I'm going to let you go, get this video uploaded. I know we didn't really get into like the news feeds and the clips and all that. But sometimes it's good just to get on here and talk about this stuff and have a discussion. And you guys are all in here together, which is cool. So everyone's getting to see everyone's shared experiences, news, and stories. So we can't go wrong when we all get together and talk, right? So behold, he cometh with clouds, says the one was laughing on CNN. Wow. Got more of that. And then I know Dabu put up a clip of where they showed a lady that said that a woman came to the front and said, like 45 minutes before the shooting ever happened, and said, "You're all going to die." Now, I mean, someone could have gotten a fight with someone, I guess, and threatened them. But I mean, in today's society, you're not really allowed to say you're all going to die or I'm going to kill you. That's like considered a threat, right? So he might be onto something with that. I mean, maybe this lady knew something, You know, maybe she was in on it. Maybe she was trying to warn people. Who knows? But she was removed by security. So, yeah. Well, he'd asked what time it is. It is 3:52. It is close to 4 p.m. here. All right. Yeah, she seemed, I mean, she didn't look like she was acting. She seemed legitimately scared. I mean, her voice was kind of undulating a bit, and, which, you know, but she almost sounded like a truther, right? She was like, I thought that was kind of weird that she would say that 45 minutes before the shooting. I was like, oh, wow. People are actually waking up. They're actually starting to get hip to this stuff, to figure it out. So, yeah. And I'll dig a little bit on the side and see what I see. I'll pull it up on Google Earth, draw some lines, and see if there's anything else that needs to be looked at, you guys. But that's where everything's at right now. Yeah, I'm in France, Rasta Abari. Yeah, I'm here in France. I've been here for about, I guess it's been a while, 6 months. Obama's recent commercial, says Darth Vader. You want to take a look at that? Okay. What's the commercial about? Yeah, you're not allowed to shout fire in a crowded theater. You're probably not allowed to say you're all going to die. You're right, Dr. Michael. So who was that lady? Who said that? We need to get to the bottom of that. Actually, David, we're now in 5778. We just crossed over into the new Hebrew year. Weather rains about every other day. I would probably compare this to like an Oregon climate, or maybe even Canada, like British Columbia, kind of like that. The weather is still kind of warm. I mean, we're not down in the 30s and 40s. Most days are like 50s to the 70s is what's going on here in West France. There's a lot of influence from the Mediterranean, so it stays somewhat moderate, even though it's at a higher latitude. Yeah, but I hear it's supposed to get cold in the winter. Several feet of snow. Thanks, Doug. I'm glad you guys are here with me too. Can't imagine a different group of people to spend my time with online other than you guys. You guys are amazing. All right. Can I speak French? No. I speak a little bit, but it's rough. Thanks, Vahid. Much love to you, man. Casey is future office. Oh, it's future office. Okay, this is the Obama commercial. I wonder if it's on YouTube. Okay, I'll make a note of that, and we'll take a look at that. He was there for a couple of days. He had to take the time to set up a perfect spot to rain down fire, says Broderick. Why did you choose France? Well, it's kind of I think it was kind of a divine thing. Since there's a lot of new faces, I'll repeat the story. Those of you that have come to my channel know how it all went down, but basically, got a call from a subscriber or a message, and he was in a bit of a bind, and I was pretty flexible and wide open to where I could go in my life at that point. And he asked me if I wanted to come here and basically manage a couple of properties that were in his family that are here in Western France. He lives in England. So I said, sure, why not? So I'm here. I'm kind of like a property manager, and then I do YouTube. So I basically make sure the grounds are maintained, and it's a lot of hard work, but that's only for like 6 months out of the year. Apparently it's going to get so cold that nothing's going to grow for a while. And I won't be out mowing the lawn every week anymore and trimming bushes. So yeah, so that's the deal. So I'm here, and I pay him as well. I pay him rent, but it's well below market value, so it works out for both of us. It's kind of like a trade, you know, because I need someone over here to keep the lights on and keep things going. Let's see here, back in the chat. No one heard him shoot out the window. Have you seen how thick those windows are? Yeah, and from what I hear in Vegas too, my experience has been the windows don't open all the way. They open like 3 inches. It's enough to where you can get a little airflow, but you can't walk out on the balconies because, you know, people commit suicide in Vegas. They're like, they just go out, you know? So they're like safety windows. So he probably shot through the window first, maybe. I don't know how it all went down. But it'll be interesting to hear some testimony from inside the hotel, like what people heard that were next door to him, what people heard that were in the elevator, in the hallways, all that stuff. Coco Puffs says, been through France, one on my way to Morocco. Yeah, like a little tiny town. It's like got 1,000 people in it. It's amazing. Very quiet. About 4 or 5 hours away from Paris. So I'm way far away from the city. And there's cows and sheep everywhere and greenery, and it's awesome. Love it. So, can you make a connection with yesterday's events in 5778? All right, I'll look into that, David. In case you do a video about the safest place outside the U.S., says XCon. Yeah, you know, as a general rule, and I've said this before to you guys, get out of the cities. When I hear someone say, I love the city, I love San Francisco, I love New York, I want to live in the city, I cringe, because that is exactly where they want you. Easily contained, they can blow up a couple bridges, you'll be trapped, you can't get out, the traffic will be too great. Cut off supplies, cut off water, cut off services, and they have instant chaos. You don't want to live in a city. There are a lot of safe places in the United States out in the countryside. There are places that are inaccessible and just not valued military targets outside of the big cities that you can go to. Because as the population becomes more and more sparse, they're going to be spread too thin. They're not going to waste their resources. They can't cover the entire United States. You know how many places there are to hide in the U.S. with really cheap land, but you got to be off grid because there might not be, like, it might be some ranch and farming stuff way up out in the hills, and you might have to make your own road to get out there. But guess what? You're going to be way safer than in the middle of a city. This is what I've been telling people. You don't have to go to another country to escape what's coming. Use the resources you have now. Use the fact that the economy is somewhat stable now. Use the fruits of your labor to purchase something. You know, visit it a couple times a year. Build it up. Make a standalone travel trailer with solar on it, so you always have power to be able to stay warm. It's like a bug out location. And I've told people this, that I, you know, in my previous life when I was a pharmaceutical rep, I made lots of money, but it's all gone now. And I wish I would have set aside $50,000, $100,000 to buy a property somewhere, buy 30 acres or 50 acres, you know, and have a game plan. You know how well you'd sleep at night if you knew there was always somewhere to go where no one would ever find you. Listen, it's this simple. You don't have to be rich to do this. Many of you work jobs. I know there's probably many in the chat that make over $100,000 a year. That's not that hard to achieve anymore. Okay? And you take 50,000 of that, and you buy 20 acres. Go on landwatch.com. Here, I'll type the thing in the chat here. I know we're going off topic here, but now it's us time, right? We've already talked about the shooting. Landwatch.com. Okay. And You can look it up by state. This is right there in the United States. Pull it up. Buy yourself 15 to 20 to 50 acres. You can get that all day long for about $50,000. You don't even have to have a dwelling on it. Now, if you want to have a dwelling on it, you can. That'll be like a start, right? But a lot of these have like manufactured homes on them. Again, you can have, it's not going to be in the best condition, but you're not using it for that. The point is you don't pay a mortgage on it. You get it cash. I remember when I had a fan, this was back in 2000. We would spend $2,000 to $5,000 just to go on vacation twice a year. Just to go to Disneyland. Food, hotel, park admission fees. Then, hey, when you're down there, you can't just go to one park. You got to go to Legoland. You got to go to California Adventure, right? And I think of all the money I just wasted on $22,000 a month rent, which I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but back in 2000, that was a lot of money. And I think about how we could have easily saved $100,000 in like 2 or 3 years, easily, hands down, with a little bit of change in lifestyle. But see, Americans don't think that way. They always think about now. Oh, now that I'm making $100,000 a year, I get to drive a Mercedes. I get to drive a Beamer. Because that's what people that make $100,000 a year are supposed to be able to do, right? And everyone's always comparing each other to each other. And that's why no one ever gets ahead. Now, my personal opinion is that land should be free. My personal opinion, I was having a discussion today with a sister in Christ about Jesus, an example that he led in his disciples. They didn't have jobs. She goes, yeah, they had jobs. They put up tents and they fished. I go, those aren't jobs. That's feeding yourself and others with God's natural resources and providing shelter for yourself. That's not working for a corporate entity, working for the Roman Empire in any fashion or form. That's what they did. They went from town to town. They fed people. And they shared the gospel with them. Another thing up for debate. Jesus didn't pay taxes. In fact, I found several verses in the Bible where they were accusing him of telling people not to pay taxes to Caesar, not to pay tribute to Caesar. And even though he wasn't formally charged with that, he was charged with blasphemy, but those are the accusations. So when people say to pay Caesar's things to Caesar's and God's things to God, that's not an excuse to force you to pay taxes. If you're going to follow Jesus' example, then you're going to read that was one of the charges. You're telling people not to pay taxes to Caesar. That's a crime. So, how do we get on that topic? Okay. So, there's what's called a minimal taxable income. I think it's around $10,000 in the US. So, if you make less than $10,000 a year, you don't have to pay taxes. I make less than $10,000 a year. You know, trolls come on this channel. They want to go on and on and on about how somehow I'm making all this money on YouTube. I make next to nothing. And I make it work because I'm following Christ's example. I don't have to make a bunch of money to feel more of a man. Less is better, actually. So my point is, let's get back to how you do it. You buy a property cash. You save up $50,000. It might take you 2 years. Some people don't make $50,000 a year, and that's okay too. Because if enough of us do this, there's going to be plenty of room for everybody. And I'm not saying we all have to live together on some kind of weird commune. What I'm saying is if you have a brother in need and they become your friend and you see that they're shining the light of Christ and they need a place to park their travel trailer, you're going to let them do it because that's what Jesus would do. If they mess up, you kick them off. They start doing drugs or something or acting crazy. Hey, you just blew it. Sorry. Gotta go. But you help people when you can. So not everybody needs to go buy land. Some people don't even make enough money to do anything. That's where I'm at. I'll never be able to save up to buy land again, but God had a different plan for me. I'm out here hanging out with my bud when he can. He comes down from England, and I'm helping him, and we're making sure nobody breaks windows on the property and the lawn stays mowed. And there's plenty of places for me to roam around at. So I'm blessed. I don't need to own land because guess what? The land should be free anyway, and food should be free. And Jesus, that's what he was trying to show us. It's God's land. You don't need a middleman. You don't need some corporation or government or country being the middleman between you and your right to eat and your right to have shelter. Those are human rights because this is God's land. It's Jesus' land. We're sons of the Most High. We shouldn't have to pay for that, but we do. So if you have to, here's how you do it. You buy the land and make sure it's in a state where there's no rules, because some states have rules. You can't just park a travel trailer on an empty plot of land. But in other states, you can buy 50 acres, 100 acres for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. You can do whatever you want to with it. And then you, if you need to, just buy a travel trailer, hook it to the back of your truck, fill it with rice and beans, and a couple solar panels on the top, or wind. And now guess what you have? Put a heater in there if it's cold. Now you have a place to go where you can survive. You might have to drive for 2 days to get to it from where you live right now. But think of how you'll sleep at night, knowing that all you have to do is hook your trailer onto the back of your truck and drive for 2 days, and that you can survive in this place. Now, I recommend a place that has some natural resources so that when your beans and rice run out and you're hungry, you have some kind of water source nearby, like a pond or a lake or a stream. A small stream will even work. Doesn't have to be like big old rushing river, just some kind of stream. Higher is better, but it's going to be colder. But if you're up higher, the water will be cleaner, but it'll be colder in the winter. If you're lower, you might have some water issues. I recommend a place where there's some natural game. Hey, if you were starving, wouldn't you eat a rabbit? I'd eat a rabbit if I was starving. You need a weapon so you can shoot your game. You need plenty of ammo. Now, this is worst case scenario. This is when it hits the fan. This is when the currency, they say, okay, your dollar's worth nothing now. That's the scenario I'm talking. I'm not saying go out there if you know, but you should be preparing. You should visit this place once a year, clear some bushes, do some target practice, hang out, live in it for a few days so you get used to it so you don't lose your mind when you do it. And that's how it's done, you guys. You need some wild game out there, whether it be deer roaming around. Preferably some part of it where you can grow a little bit of food if you need to. But I can tell you this, if I filled up a travel trailer half full of beans and rice, I could live off of that for 3 or 4 years. If the world ended, there was nuclear fallout, I can live off beans and rice and whatever other forage that I needed for 2 or 3 years. You're going to have the electricity because you got the solar panels. Okay? It's pretty simple. It's basically living like a frontier. Think about it. These guys did this in covered wagons less than 200 years ago, you guys. That's how they populated the whole west coast of America. They were in covered wagons. See those old movies where these rickety old wagons held together by bolts? They're like all swaying around and the top's barely on, and you know, the wagon wheels made out of wood. Now we have luxury wagons, which is like a travel trailer. You can do whatever you want to the inside of a travel trailer. You won't even know that you're out in the middle of nowhere. If you got solar panels, electric stove, because remember, you're not going to be able to have propane out there. You've got some dried goods, a source of water. You can cook rice till Jesus comes back. And I'm not trying to be funny, but that's what it's about. rice and some wild forage, berries, weeds, dandelions, and some protein here and there that you can trap, shoot, or kill. Now, people on the truth community are not the only ones experiencing the censorship. I follow a lot of fishing channels, and they're getting the same treatment. When they go to clean a fish and blood comes out, their video is defunded, demonetized. And some people are even getting guideline strikes for showing blood because their videos are getting flagged. What does that tell you about where America is headed? They're not headed for more rights for hunters and rugged individualism. America doesn't represent that anymore. They want to control everything. They want to control the narrative. And I hope that one of them sees one of my decodes and understands what they're really looking at. But basically, I started watching Hannibal, and I was a little reluctant to do it because it's all about a serial killer. Shows on television. And there's a lot to learn about what they are putting forward and looking at. Oh, did I lose you guys? So I started watching Hannibal. And sure enough, pre-programming to the T. There's a girl, her dad kills all these people, and basically he's a hunter, right? Now here's where things get eerie because remember, Justice Scalia died on Lupercalia. He died on that day. Justice Scalia died on Lupercalia. What is Lupercalia? It is an ancient Roman festival. They killed him on that day. I think it was February 15th. It was like the second day of Lupercalia. There's 3 days in Lupercalia. This Hubertus secret society. Well, when I look up the Hubertus secret society, they show this giant stag with his horns. And basically what the Hubertus society represent is they were hunters of Christians. They're Christian hunters. That's what it is. Let's look it up real quick. Hubertus. Here it is, International Order of St. Hubertus. This is what he was part of. Their symbol is the stag. Here it is right here. This is what Justice Scalia is part of. And there is Christ inside the horns. So in this television series, they show this stag with his horns just like this. They don't put the Christ in the middle, but basically this represents death and murder. Now, this series came out, when was this? This was 2000 and I don't know if this was before Justice Scalia died. There might be clues in here about that. But again, I can't really do videos like that anymore because that's not socially acceptable on YouTube. But my point is that they pictured this serial killer as a hunter. And they tried to compare a deer. They show him basically forcing his daughter to shoot a deer. Now, this is how sick these people are. Okay, they're depicting this on television. His daughter is shooting her first deer. And she's all like scared and I can't believe this. And then she starts talking about the deer as if it's a person. And she says, yeah, this deer, you know, they're like humans. They're actually very smart animals. And they try not to, they actually care about their environment. And when they walk through the grass, they walk lightly so as not to disturb the grass. Like she's literally saying this. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then the father says, we have to kill it. We have to do this. She goes, I'm not going to be able to eat this after I do this because she's cleaning the deer. And he says, if we don't eat it, it's no different than murder. So they basically equate killing this deer to murder. Murdering a human is what you end up thinking at the end of it. Now, when you compare that to what I just explained to you about how people survived on the frontier, there's no way you're going to make it from the East Coast to the West Coast without killing some live animal to eat. You just can't do it. Okay? Sorry, but that's the truth. We've had the luxury of becoming not eating meat in this modern society through the beast system. And that should tell you all you need to know. It is a luxury. And I'm sorry for all those vegetarians out there, and I'm not hating on you. I've been a vegetarian for parts of my life. You have the right to do that if you want. But I think where the line crosses is when people make other people feel bad for eating meat. I'm trying to control them and outlaw it, which is kind of what's going to happen one day in America. So they depict this serial killer, and they basically depict all hunters. Like when he goes to shoot the deer, he has this crazy look in his eye, and she's got this crazy, and they look like they're like demon possessed, or like they're actually killing a human. And they basically victimize the hunter. They make the hunter seem like the victim. And that really bothers me, because that is the kind of thinking that is shutting down and censoring rugged individuals on YouTube. Guys catching a fish, or cleaning a fish, or shooting an animal. And it's just, man, it's so backwards. Calling evil good and good evil. And the last thing I'm going to say about that before I move on to other topics is there's so much disinformation out there about the Bible. Okay? I found many places where Jesus ate a fish. And if Jesus can eat a fish, I can eat a fish. Rainbow Covenant, God made with Noah. Look it up. Just after they got off the ark. All things that are moving on the ground will be food for you to eat. But do not eat the thing with the life blood in it, because that was the pagan practice during the time. That's what the Nephilim were doing. They were getting energy from the blood that was still alive in the creature, slitting the neck and then like drinking the blood that was alive. They were getting energy from it. And God said, don't do that, because the blood is sacred. You have to wait till it's dead too with the animal. That's how you do it. That's why this ritual that some hunters do, where when they kill their first deer, they like eat the heart or something like that. And I'm definitely gonna have to take this video down, because I'm going deep today with you guys. So this probably will come down. But this is a ritual that hunters do. It was depicted in the film Red Dawn. After the first kill, they drink the live blood from the animal. That's a pagan practice. That's why they taught people to do that. To mock God, to mock God's order that he gave to Noah after they got off the ark of not to drink the life blood. It was to drain the blood. There's a kosher way to do it, where the animal does not suffer. And then you cook the animal and consume it. That was a God-given right. And Jesus reconfirmed that, because he ate fish too. So just be careful. Don't fall into misinformation when it comes to what the Bible actually says. Okay? Again, it is your right. I know some of you that are very close to my heart that are vegetarian. That's your right to do that. But again, where the line crosses is where people try to demonize other people or make them feel bad for being people that eat meat. Okay? All right, I'm back in the chat. I'll get off that soapbox. All right. Some of the videos look suspect. Yeah, we came here to talk about the shooting, didn't we? Maybe we can live off Tom's. Let's see here. Red Cross. Casey, you're so. Thanks, Teresa. I appreciate that. You post responsibility on Facebook and took it down. Oh, really? Antifa, huh? It's weird. Yeah, Jesus ate fish. Exactly. He did. Thanks, Deb. I know I rant, but I try to rant in like a nice way. I rant for the spiritual things because, you know, some of these things need to be said. You know, they just do. Yes, it says we can't eat meat. That's the Rainbow Covenant. Right after Noah gets off the ark after the flood. You can read that all day long. There's no other way to interpret that. Animals would be given into you for food. Now, here's the interesting thing. Obviously, before that, and this is where it's okay if you don't eat meat, or some people can't eat meat. They're just digestive system cannot handle it. Before the flood, they did not eat meat because God had to give them permission after the flood. So then you got to ask yourself, well, why did God give him permission after the flood? What changed? Well, do you think it's an accident that God just so happened to say, my spirit will only contend with you for 120 years? He said this after the flood. So basically, he limited the human lifespan. So maybe we need meat. Maybe somehow those two might be connected or correlated. Okay? And use your critical thinking, you start putting the puzzle pieces together. So then you're like, okay, well, before the flood, we could get by without meat. And in fact, people did not eat meat unless maybe it was a sin before that. But then God changed the rules. He added to the menu, so to speak. So I look at it from the perspective of we might need meat for something. So I'm not going to deprive my body of it. Now, there are clean meats. But in the New Testament, it says, do not judge a man by what he eats or drinks. So, you know, and at the end of the day, God reads the heart. I don't think he's going to condemn somebody for eating something unclean, but maybe there's health reasons behind it. Only God knows. And then there's the other end of the spectrum. Some people, that's all they eat is meat, and that's not healthy for you either. Everything in moderation is what the Bible says. Everything in moderation. All right. I want to give a shout out to my mod, Christy, in the house for holding it down for us in the chat. Appreciate you. And let's keep reading here. Check out the logo for Jaeger. Oh, is it the same St. Hubertus? I think it is. It's from my memory. Stag. Yeah, crabs and lobsters are forbidden. And don't you think it's interesting that the blue bloods, that the crabs and lobsters are blue-blooded? They have the hemocyanin, which is, their blood is copper-based, which is blue, as our squid. And that's one of the forbidden. That's interesting. And in the television series Hannibal, basically he's a cannibal, okay, and they show him eating like humans throughout the episodes. It's crazy. And so then he serves it to the people, but they don't know they're eating. That he just calls it sausage or whatever. And this one time, the guy asks him, he goes, "What is it?" He says, "It's pork." So, you know, I've always had this curiosity about this and this suspicion that pork might have some kind of human DNA link, like part human. And, you know, they use heart valves from a pig for humans when they do heart valve transplants and other things as well. So I've always wondered about that, you know, and then here I hear it in the series Hannibal as he's serving. He calls it pork, but it's really human to this person who doesn't know what it is, because he asks him what it is. So I don't want to spread fear to anyone, or pork is listed as one of the unclean meats, but yeah, so we'll have to dig into that a little bit. Hannibal, they say the Pope does these things to people that cross him, says Darth Vader. All right. Purple people eaters. Just reading in the chat here. Brainworms, yeah, from pork. Exactly. Label on the Jägermeister bottles features a glowing Christian cross seen between the antlers of a stag. Yeah, that's the St. Hubertus. That's what he was part of. Let's do this. That's a Scalia. Here he is. Died on February 13th. This was the first day of Lupercalia. He was born on 3/11. There's your Fukushima date. You guys were just talking about Fukushima in the chat. I just heard you. Find Hubertus. Oh, they're not showing it. They left that part out of his Wikipedia page, but it is known that he was part of the St. Hubertus Secret Society. They might have removed that. Scalia. Kalia. This means Lupercalia. Luper means wolf. It's the wolf festival. He was known as the wolf. They called him the wolf. Ready for this? And we're going way back. Scalia, wolf. A lot of this stuff they'll scrub. Let's see. Ooh. Go to the news. Okay, here it is. All right. This is one of his speeches. He calls himself the wolf. Find. And he killed him on the Wolf Festival. All right, it says here, he wrote that the intrusion on presidential power was so obvious that in contrast to most such cases, which, as he put it, typically come to court disguised in sheep's clothing, this wolf comes as a wolf. He was talking about himself. This wolf comes as a wolf. Scalia, February 13th. This is why they shut my channel down, because I call a spade a spade. Lupercalia, February 13th through the 15th. It's 3 days. Ooh, look at this. They changed it. February 15th is the last date, but it actually is a 3-day festival starting on the 13th. History. They sacrifice a dog. This is all about Luper means dog. Find. And would you look at that? Wiped away. Lupercalia, February 13th. Now they're scrubbing the Wikipedia articles. Okay, that's what they're doing. They're changing history before your eyes. Here it is. So you got to dig for it now. Ancient Rome, Lupercalia observed February 13th through 15th. It used to say that in the Wikipedia article. Now it doesn't. This is the festival that's based on Valentine's Day. I come as a wolf. Okay, well, I think we beat that up enough. I think you guys get the point. Now, the only way we're going to survive is if us big channels stick together. I'm not the last channel they're going to take down. They're coming for somebody else next. Here's the pattern. First, they demonetize all your videos. And then every video you put up gets unmonetized as not advertiser friendly. That's the first thing they do. Then they'll give you a strike, but they'll make you feel safe. Because you'll get the strike and weeks will go by and you'll think you're safe. Oh, I just got one strike. I can't live stream anymore. I'll wait for the strike to drop off. And just before the strike drops off, boom, boom, you get 2 more and your channel's gone. That's what they're doing. So I'll say it again. This is a call to the big channels out there. If you guys can't, you guys have to stand behind each other. Because when your channel goes down, you're going to want channels like mine to say, hey, everyone go sub that person's backup channel. Otherwise, they're going to pick us off one by one. That's the truth, you guys. Okay, I'm back in the chat here. All right. I shall not kill includes animals. Not really. But that's okay. We can disagree on that. All right, guys, what else do we got here? Yeah, here's the problem. I know YouTube sucks, but it's all we got right now. And Google owns YouTube. No other platform is going to make a dent in reaching people other than YouTube because Google controls it. They control all the search results. They make YouTube come up first now because now they have a vested interest to protect YouTube because they own it. There's no coming back. Once you are off YouTube, you're just going to wither off the vine. And that's what they want. Appreciate it, Doug. Yeah, exactly. Plants have a conscience too, or some kind of conscience. I mean, the argument that you're, hurting, if it's about killing something, it's just as bad to kill a plant as it is an animal. If that's the argument for, condemning people that eat meat. Okay. You're still just in God's creation. Everything is created. It all has God's life force in it. So it's not much different to kill an animal than it is to pull a tomato off of a vine. Okay. It's all part of it. So, yeah. All right. What else do we have here? I guess the fact of the matter is we shouldn't divide each other by what we eat or drink, and that's in the New Testament. We shouldn't even be talking about it because it's just everyone's going to do what they're going to do, right? So I hope I didn't cause a bunch of division here by talking about this. Do what you're going to do, but try not to judge the person next to you, All right. We're all connected and they know that. Wait a minute. What was the name of that? What was the name of that hotel that he shot out of the window at? Let's look this up. Let's look up this hotel. Do you guys think we're going to find 91s in this hotel? Was it Mandalay? Let's see. Vegas shooting. Didn't look at the building. It was Mandalay. Here it is. All right, let's take a look here. The neighborhood Mandalay Bay Resort. Okay. 32nd floor. Okay, here's the building. Well, it's three-sided, so there's your trident. Let's keep going with this. 3,309 rooms, 43 stories, 32nd floor, 43. It's pretty high up there. Oh, wow. 24 elevators, casino, 190,000 square meters. Opened on March 2nd, 18 years ago, 1999. All right, I don't really see anything in the numbers here, you guys. I mean, there's some of the stuff like the 999 could be a 666. 18 years ago, 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. So you have 666, 999, possibly. But that could be considered a bit of a stretch. So let's keep looking here. Let's do a page search on 91. See if there's anything in this group here. There's not. 18. So I don't really see anything that's really standing out too much, you guys. Let's do October 1st. That's the shooting. And I also have April 1st. Whoops. Nope. Oh, by the way, April 1st is April Fool's Day, right? Forgot about that. We didn't cover that earlier. That's the mirror date of the shooting is April Fool's Day. So that about rounds it out, you guys. I'm probably going to let you go. It's getting kind of late over here. Hugs to everybody, and thanks for hanging in there with me through all this. And again, prayers go out to the people that were involved with this, people that were actually hurt. There was a patsy that died. Prayers to him or her. And pray for the country. I mean, you know, pray for the future. Pray for God's kingdom to come. So I will talk to you guys later. Take care and be safe. All right, let's look at this other song. Lights come on. You're a crack of dawn Monday morning, coffee strong, poured everything you got into my paycheck Friday night. You're a power stroke diesel, backhoe riding king of beers 18-wheeler, driving life in between the lines of clocking in and quitting time. But then the six-string circus comes to town. We hang them speakers over the crowd. When the lights come on, everybody's, oh, wow. There you go. We hang them speakers over the crowd. When the lights come on, everybody's screaming. Now, of course, this is what people do at a concert. Lighters in the sky, everybody's singing every word to every song to a girl, take it home tonight. When the lights come on, everybody's feeling. So this is about a concert. Now remember, this is the song that released, the single, and the opposite date, the mirror date of the shooting, okay? When the lights come on, everybody's feeling a hallelujah high from the floor to the ceiling. Yeah, the drink we're drinking, the smoke that we're smoking, the party we throw, it's going all night long. When the lights come on, when the lights come on. You're a little shy. Thing with the wild side on a night like this, you can't hide. You can't hide. Because it's time to live it up. So come on, raise your cup. If we're talking about memories, yeah, we're going to make them. And they made some memories at this concert, didn't they? Talking about rules, you know we're going to break them. Breaking the rules. When the lights come on, everybody's screaming. Lighters in the sky. Okay, so that's the chorus. When the lights come on, when the lights come on. Now, did the lights come on when the shooting happened? For those of you that saw clips of this. Unbelievable. So, you know, this is open interpretation, of course. But isn't it weird that this song was released on the opposite date, April 1st, 91st day of the year, Highway 91, October 1st, 91 days remaining in the year. Wow, that's interesting. So you have 10-1 and 4-1, right? So anyway, that's what's going on with the song. Let's keep reading about what happened with this incident. Remember, we're just looking at the numbers. You make your own decision about what you think this is about. Look at this. Oh, it's smoke. Whoa, and look at this. You've got this look at the angle. Look at the angle of the smoke here. What? Oh man. So let's do the way that man moved. The soldier moved through the streets, and he did what they call, he did like a decoy maneuver, which is a military maneuver. Highly trained people are only able to do that. It takes high levels of training to maintain your focus, to maintain your aim, calm breathing as you're shooting through and moving through targets. And when you look at that footage, how he baited the cop out by shooting one side of the post that the cop was using for cover. And then as soon as the cop moved to the other side, the shooter had already anticipated he was going to do that and took him out. This was a cop, probably had bulletproof vest on. It was a perfect headshot. And that kind of accuracy you only see in a video game or as a super soldier. And that's what I believe is going on here. I think these are either paid mercenaries, super soldiers. They always have a patsy. They have to have a patsy, right? Or they pay these people to carry out the crime. What is the end point? Why would they do this? They do it because you need order. You need chaos to create order. Plain and simple. Order out of chaos. Let's keep reading the story. Background. 2017 Route 91 Harvest Festival was a 3-day country music festival held from September 29th to August 1st. So this was the last day. Wait a minute. When did Mr. Playboy die? Let's see. Oh, here we go. Ready for this? Okay, so he died 2 days before the concert started. But where did Mr. Hugh Hefner like to hang out in? Vegas. Now this one's a bit of a stretch, but you get the drift, right? He's like the icon. If you go to Vegas, all you'll see, and he died at 91, by the way, is Playboy bunny ears everywhere. That's like the thing. In fact, a lot of the cocktail waitresses will dress up with Playboy bunny ears. That's what's going on in Vegas. If you've been there in the last, I haven't been there in 10 or 15 years. Let's keep reading. 15-acre lot on the Las Vegas Strip across from the luxury Mandalay Bay hotels. Mandalay sounds like Melee, right? So Eric Church was there, Sam Hunt, Valdine had the closing act. According to BBC, the state of Nevada has some of the least stringent gun laws. Okay, so here you go. Least stringent gun laws. So now that's going to be the reason why this guy killed everybody. So let's change the gun laws in Nevada after the worst shooting in U.S. history. That's what they're looking to do here. Firearms may openly carry in public. Now, let me be clear here. Okay. I believe in our right to bear arms, but also what is happening in this country or in America is that they have created teams once again. What was the name of the song that was playing when the shooting broke out? I'd like to know. So, just reading the chat here to see if you guys have anything on that. So right off the bat, we have some weird synchronicity. Now let's keep going with this because there may be more. Let's look up this song. There's a lot. Much love, you guys. Release to the Book of Acts. Now this stuff is going to continue. Oh yeah, Hugh Hefner just died at 91. When was that? Let's see. How many days ago was that? A lot of 91 stuff going on. Now 91 is an interesting number. I think we had covered 91 recently. They want to start the big show. The elite, says Method Marine. Yeah, 406 injured. This is crazy. This makes the Pulse nightclub shooting look like kindergarten. Yes, April 1st is 91st day of the year. Exactly. That was the date that this song released. I don't know if this was the song that was playing when the shooting happened. That's what I'm waiting for, to see if anyone knows the answer to that. But apparently this guy shot out of this 30-story building. Let's keep going with the story until I hear from you guys. So, during a closing performance, so the concert was over, singer Jason Aldean, a shooter, fired into the crowd from a 32nd story balcony of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, located in the southeast of Las Vegas Village outdoor concert venue. Shooter was identified as Stephen Paddock, 64, apparently of Mesquite, Nevada. And I looked on Twitter. Some people thought they might have found this guy, what he looks like. They found like his Facebook page. says baby. Okay, we'll look at that too. Because oftentimes the lyrics to these songs mean everything too. How this stuff is happening, I don't know if it's on some kind of a spiritual level. I haven't quite figured that out yet. One thing is apparent. This involves the fabric of reality, the matrix. Okay, what's that? Hold on, let's go. Lose you guys. Hold on. Let's get the name of this song. When She Says Baby. Okay. Live research. Some days it's tough just getting up, throwing on these boots and making that climb. Some days I'd rather be a no-show. Lay low, for I go out of my mind, making the climb. But when she says baby, oh, no matter what comes, ain't going nowhere. She runs her fingers through my hair and says, it's just like a love song, right? And look in her eyes, coming alive, driving me crazy. When she says baby, some nights I come home fighting mad, feel like I'm running my fist through the wall. Okay, I don't really see anything there. Perfect shot of faith when every bit of mine is gone. Look at this. I'm going to have to take this video down, so once it uploads, you guys might want to save this. Smoke, bullet, shooting a bullet through smoke. Might not even be connected right now. Oh, man. This is crazy. Dark. Be right back in the chat in a minute, you guys. So you've got this, it's like this streaking, right? Crossfire. Let's look at crossfire in the smoke. This is crazy. And remember, the guy shot from the 32nd floor. So this looks like a bunch of like bullets raining down onto the crowd. Again, it's open interpretation, but this is what I'm seeing on a spiritual level. Shooting bullets through, okay, let's do crossfire. We need multiple bullets. Smoke. Oh, video game, must be the name of some guy. Anyway, you guys get the drift. This looks like a World War II scene here. Look at this. Like World War II. These bullets coming down from the 32nd floor. Don't ask me how I see this stuff, but I do. Back in the chat. All right, let's keep reading this. Let's see if you guys have any input, because this is a group effort, right? Didn't that look like bullets to you? That's crazy. Okay. Now, obviously, there are some people that are hurt. So we don't want to, like, I'm not going to be one of those channels that says everything's fake and nobody died, because that's what they want us to say, right? Because when we do that, now they can shut people down for being insensitive, right? All right, I'm reading in the chat here. Everyone who's watching, please thumbs up this video, get the word out. The shooter had been in the hotel alone for days. It was like he was waiting. Yeah, they're targeting any large group of people. I wouldn't be caught dead in Vegas or at a concert. Just like I wouldn't be caught dead in the middle of a giant city. Everyone's like, why don't you go to Paris? Why don't you check out Paris while you're there? No, heck no. That'd be the one place they try to take me out at. And here's the problem. Okay, you guys, I can speak till I'm blue in the face, but people aren't going to listen until stuff like this keeps happening. You become their playground for destruction and evil when you put yourself in these situations, perishing because of lack of knowledge. Now, I was very close to the Dallas shooting. There weeks after it happened. And I can tell you that some of the footage we saw, and it's all gone now, obviously, probably would have gotten a strike on it anyway. But looking at that footage, hey guys, Enter the Stars, and we're going to be talking about the shooting. We're just going to look at the numbers. Impromptu live show. I saw that Dabu had gone live a little bit earlier, and I wanted to have the opportunity to check out what's going on with the numbers. Now, apologies for the title, but these kinds of videos are getting flagged, taken down, and I may take this video down as soon as I put it up based on where the discussion goes. This is nuts. So this is what we're going to talk about today. The shooting that just happened. There's 50 dead, if you hadn't heard. 50 dead. They're calling this the greatest mass shooting in U.S. history. The deadliest is what they're calling this. 50 dead, several hundred injured, non-fatal injuries. We're going to first do an overview of what they're saying happened. And I say that with full intention of the way I just said that. Okay. We're going to go over what they are saying is happening, and then we're going to look at the numbers. And we're going to see how all this fits in. Now, thanks for you guys for coming out. Appreciate you guys. Let's break this down. Like I said, I'm trying to not cover this kind of stuff too much because it can be a downer. And also, this is perfect material that they would attack channels like this with. So, but we got to do this, you guys. So this is what they're saying. This is the 2017 Las Vegas strip shooting. Mass shooting occurred on Route 91 Harvest. Now, the date of the shooting is October 1st. And when you look at Route 91 Harvest, October 1st has 91 days left until the end of the year. We've often talked about these mirror dates. A lot of that material was erased from my main channel, but there's an entire library showing all of these events. Almost every single one coincides with this mirroring of the date. So we have Route 91, and we have 91 days remaining till the end of the year after the shooting happened yesterday. Okay. But it goes deeper. This is just the stuff I found off the top of my head with 10 minutes of research. When you look at the 91st day of the year and then you look at its opposite date, that's April 1st. So I looked at who was actually performing during this, and it's Jason Aldean. And guess what? His Lights Come On single released on April 1st. So his single released on the mirror date of the shooting. Now, let's take a look at Lights Come On, because maybe there's clues about this. Because the lights went out for the people at this concert. Obviously. We're going to look at the lyrics to this song. Now, I haven't looked at the lyrics to this song, so I don't know what the lyrics are. I don't know what song was playing when this guy started shooting. It could have been Lights Come On. Anyone in the chat know? Because I know you guys have already researched all this. I see Eric in the chat. Hey, bro, what's up? Shooter was on the 30th floor.